All right, guys, we are here for part 2, the 1992 Dreams Team documentary. So far, it has been really good. Really good, man. The thing that hit me the most so far is leaving Isaiah Thomas off of this 1992 Dream Team. I know that something like this had an effect on him for many years, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. This team has gone down in most eyes as the best Olympic team ever. Now I'm a new era, new school. So, I've seen my own. I've seen the Redeem team. I think honestly the Redeem team played against a better talent. Going off some of the research that I've looked at. But as far as iconic or icons go, this is probably the most iconic team ever. Okay? So I will give you guys that. Let's get to it.
We're done answering questions about Isaiah. But with training camp approaching, a bigger question would need to be answered.
Hello, how you doing?
How would the 12 stars that were selected play together?
Welcome.
Training camp began on June 22nd, 1992, in La Jolla, California. And when the gym doors opened, no one was quite sure what to expect, especially the players themselves.
It's a lot of egos in one gym and on one team. Everybody wanted their form to shine and showcase why they were a part of this team.
With all these stars on the team, if it comes down to the last shot, who's gonna take the shot?
Me. Everybody in the world has an ego. The only difference between us, we have a reason to have an ego.
Every one of us felt like we was everybody.
And when practice started that first day, every player seemed to be trying to prove just how great they were.
It was a very competitive practice, and I'm thinking, aren't we all on the same team?
Patrick go, I don't want to play with David, I want to play against him. Then you hear Michael say, I don't want to be on Magic's team, I want to play against him.
Every evaluation of Michael Jordan at that time was, he's good, but he's never Magic Johnson. In my competitive nature, I wanted to use every little bit that I could gather so that I can gain an advantage.
Karl Malone, he's the only guy I would even compare to myself at the power forward position. So I want to prove that I was the best power forward in the world.
Charles. Yeah, he's a great talent. Do I think he's better than me? Hell no. So let's do this. By the time this over with, you're gonna be thinking I'm damn good too.
First practice, Barkley drives baseline and Karl Malone jumps up like this. Barkley just dunked on him so hard. It was just an unbelievable play. I felt like, man, I cannot believe that I'm part of this practice.
Christian was just happy to be there. He was just happy to be there, guys. And I'm not mad at him because he was getting a front row seat to just greatness. Greatness. And these different personalities, these are all superstars at this time. And their best competition was going to be against themselves. Because a lot of people around the world, they weren't caught up. There weren't as many, foreign players in the NBA at that time. The NBA didn't expand as wide. They were working on that. So the best games were going to be the practices. Ego and talent and superstars facing off. And I absolutely loved it.
Cannot believe that I'm part of this practice.
A few days later, the team had a chance to acclimate themselves to playing on the same side. Chuck Daly had scheduled a scrimmage against a select group of college players, a group thrilled to be facing off against their idols.
I found out today I might be picking up Magic a little bit full court, so, things are just happening for me that really makes me happy.
My whole thought process was don't embarrass yourself, and that was like the theme for me, like just hang in there.
A lot of those people that I've looked up to, Barkley, Malone, a lot of those people talk confidence. And
I know these guys were shaking in those tennis shoes, y'all. They about to face off against this 1992 Dream Team. Michael Jordan, got Karl Malone, Charles Barkley, Magic. Woo! I would not want to be on that floor, guys. I would not want to be on that floor.
A lot of those people that I've looked up to, Barkley, Malone, a lot of those people talk confidence, and I think it's going to be a good matchup. There's no advantage on either side.
For the college players, it was a chance to see how they'd match up against the world's best. For Coach Daly, it was an opportunity to get his stars to grow into a single unit.
I think we're somewhere between the mentality of an all-star game and trying to come together as a team. So we've got to continually work on this.
Daly had been hired for his ability to manage personalities and egos. And when the scrimmage began, it became apparent that his players had left one of their biggest weapons, those egos, somewhere else.
The non-fan would think, well, they're going to go in there and they're each going to want their own ball, and Jordan's going to be hogging the ball, and Magic's going to be dribbling all over the place. Point of fact, it was the exact opposite. They overpassed.
It was like, I don't want to start it off. You do it. And before you realize it, the select team was beating us by 10.
We didn't know how to play with each other. We didn't want to step on anybody's toes or hurt any egos. And so these young kids, they were killing us.
We were not into it, and we paid for it.
Chris Webber was a man. I thought, boy, that's the guy's coming this league, I could get out of here.
Bobby Hurley was dominant.
I did have some success penetrating and collapsing the defense, and our energy, our excitement to play, all those things played in our favor.
Bobby Hurley didn't play 2 seasons in the NBA. Nevertheless, it did expose the one weakness they could have had, which is defending against quick guards.
They were playing great. Then I noticed that Michael Jordan's not playing.
I'm saying something. Chuck, then he said, we're all right. We're all right.
Daly watched as his players failed to make up the deficit. And in their first taste of outside competition, the Dream Team lost.
Okay, time out. They lost to college players? They lost to college players. Michael Jordan, Magic, Larry, Charles Barkley, Karl Malone, Patrick Ewing lost to college players. Okay. Okay, y'all. Okay. So I gotta, okay. This put some things. I gotta, because the rest of the world just wasn't caught up to the Dream Team. But these players are from the United States. This had Chris Webber. I saw Grant Hill over there. I'm sure there were some other future NBA players in there. That's not a good look, man. It's not a good look on the best Olympic team. I wasn't expecting that, guys. I wasn't expecting that. Calling this the best Olympic team ever. Okay, all right.
Their first taste of outside competition, the Dream Team lost. A story their coach didn't want the press to get their hands on.
I remember Chuck saying as soon as the game ended and we were getting ready to let media in, it was erase the scoreboard.
The media comes in, scores, if not hundreds. They can sense something. You can feel the tension, or you can feel something in the air.
Well, some of these college players we've just got through playing against probably should be on this team, but they'll get their chance.
The teams posed for a picture together, both not sure what to make of what had just happened. But the man in charge may have had the answer.
He threw the game. Chuck threw the game.
If you look how much Jordan played and how he subbed guys in, not picking up, not making any adjustments, he knew what he was doing.
It was legit. It felt tremendous. You know, what we were doing that day, you know, they couldn't stop it.
Look, you see that face right there? You will never take that away from that man. He told his children, his grandchildren, he's going to tell his great-grandchildren. He's told everyone about this story, about how he beat the Dream Team. Look at that face. Look at it. That is the happiest man in the world right now. You can give him 10 mil. He'd rather take that win over the Dream Team. You can't take that away from him. That smile right there. Oh, he is joyful. And I don't know about throwing. How do you throw a game with Hall of Fame? I don't know about throwing the game. I think that's an excuse. These NBA players know better. They've done seen it all. They've been there. They've done that. I don't know about throwing the game. Who you throw in there? The towel boy? Who did you throw in there? Because the bench was other Hall of Famers. I don't know how you throw in the game. That's an excuse. That's bullshit. I'm sorry. That's bull crap. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying it.
What we were doing that day, you know, they couldn't stop it.
There are kids who believe in Santa Claus too, and the Easter Bunny, and now that they've grown up, I hate to burst their bubble, but it was a game thrown. Not many people would have done it, and he did it.
What? I don't buy that. You threw the game with other Hall of Famers. Stop it. Stop it, man. Shit happens sometimes, and it happened. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
It was gratifying to Chuck for us to get our butts beat like that, because now we had to listen to him.
From then on, he had a way of just saying, you could lose.
After fixing his collars and his hair, his speech was, anybody can get beat, so you gotta be ready to play. And I think that's the only speech he ever gave us.
The message got across. I mean, Chuck couldn't have been happier, I'm sure.
It was brilliant on Chuck's part to be able to orchestrate that and play along like he didn't.
Why didn't he tell you guys?
We probably would have screwed it up.
The next day, training camp ended with a rematch against...
I'm getting irritated. I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting kind of irritated pushing that narrative. I understand them losing. That probably was great for their egos to get everybody in line to listen to him, but those are still NBA players. Those are professional players. I can't give them an excuse. I wouldn't give any NBA players an excuse for losing to a college team. You just lost. That was just a bad day. You lost. You gotta take that L. I'm sorry, but I don't care. If y'all try to convince me otherwise, I'm sorry. I'm not going to accept that. That is still NBA players.
We probably would have screwed it up.
The next day, training camp ended with a rematch against the college kids. And once play started, everything made sense again.
The tables were turned drastically.
We showed them why we are who we are. We pretty much beat them by 100.
They couldn't score. And by the way, Jordan played a lot more that next scrimmage.
Before the Dream Team could play in the 1992 Olympics, they had to qualify. The place to do that was Portland, Oregon, and the Tournament of the Americas. It would be the public's first chance to see the NBA stars together in a game, especially Jordan, Bird, and Magic. Daly had asked all three to be team captains, but Jordan had turned him down.
I knew how much it meant to both of those guys because they never had the opportunity to play on the Olympics. So I said, you know what, Chuck, don't worry about me. You know, let these old dogs do it.
Magic and Bird weren't just the team's oldest players. They were also the most revered. They had entered the league together in 1979, embarking on a rivalry that had redefined the NBA. And along the way, their personal admiration for one another had grown.
Magic's just a great basketball player. He's the best I've ever seen, you know. Unbelievable. I don't know what to say.
In 1992, they'd be getting the chance to share the ball. But the opportunity would be coming at the end of their careers. Bird had given his soul to the game. But after so many years, his body was betraying him.
Had back problems. It just gets to the point where you just couldn't play. I mean, you couldn't think, couldn't move, couldn't run. You know, if you can't feel your feet, it's hard to run.
Larry was on the fence because of his back, so I said, man, LB, you gotta play, man. You gotta play. This is our last chance to be together.
Magic would be able to convince his old friend to play. But at the start of the 1991-92 NBA season, he was forced to retire after learning he had the HIV virus. Doctors would eventually clear him to play in the Olympics, though that didn't stop fears from swirling.
There's a lot of players that really didn't want him to play, didn't want to play with him or against him, because nobody knew what disease meant. You know, they say you get a little blood on you, you got HIV, or you breathe on you, you know.
And that's true, man. A lot of people didn't know much about that disease back then. People were scared to get touched by you. I mean, any type of liquid around them, like, you know, back then, you know, people was calling it a gay man's disease and all types of different things. You know, I heard this one guy say in the documentary, you know, Larry said it actually, you know, we thought it was you live 9 years, you get skinny, then you die. So, you know, there wasn't much known about the disease.
You know, they say you get a little blood on you, you got HIV, or you breathe on you, you know. I never bought any of that, you know. You just keep going. And that's what Irving decided to do, just keep pushing, keep going.
6, 5, 3-pointer, yes, oh my!
Magic had made a cameo in the 1992 All-Star Game and had focused his attention on the Olympics, hoping for an encore of a lifetime alongside his old rival.
Our careers were really over, and it was something I thought needed to happen for both of us.
Their debut would take place at Portland's Rose Garden, with their team needing to medal in the Tournament of the Americas to qualify for the Olympics. That seemed like a foregone conclusion to just about everyone, including their first opponents, who were completely in awe before the game even started.
The Cuban team spontaneously drops to its knees as if 12 popes had come by on Easter Sunday. At that point, the idea that this is merely a basketball game has been ripped asunder.
It was a surreal feeling. She's like, dude, we're here to kick y'all behind. And they want to take pictures with you.
Then the game begins. Magic and Larry come out together, two guys that had saved the league. They wouldn't even be playing this game without those two. And Magic passed the ball. Larry makes the first basket.
Bird banking in, goes to the fadeaway.
I mean, you know, it just didn't get any better than that.
The U.S. was off and running, and the result was a thing of beauty.
Johnson leading the break, finds Robinson.
And no one seemed more excited to be sharing the court than the co-captains.
Bird for 3.
Opening night was a smashing success, with the outcome never in doubt.
Bullet from Magic to Portland.
And late in the game, the fans in Portland decided they wanted a curtain call from a 3-time MVP.
The crowd started cheering.
And man, see, the teams were already admitting defeat before they even played. Like, they were just happy to be there. They were fans. fans. That would never happen today. But we were so ahead of everybody back then, man. These guys were icons, okay? They worshiped the ground they walked on, if you didn't notice, right then and there. And, Larry Bird and Magic Johnson be able to play their last games together, man, was so poetic. They've been through so much. They took the NBA from death and rose it to the heavens. I'm not even being funny. That's literally what happened. Without those two, we wouldn't have Michael Jordan. We wouldn't have the Charles Barkleys of that time. The games were being recorded and then played and then shown. Championship games, guys. It's because of them, that it is what it is today. So we gotta give them that respect, man. So let's go.
Time MVP.
The crowd start cheering. Larry, Larry, Larry.
Crowd reacts to the entrance of Larry Bird, a standing ovation.
And as he'd done so many other times in his career, Larry Bird rose to the occasion.
Jordan with the behind-the-back save. Here's Bird. Yes.
You just knew that Larry Bird was not going to miss that shot.
It was a virtually flawless performance. The final margin of victory was 77 points. And Magic and Bird had led the way. For Magic in particular, after a year out of the game, the victory had a special kind of meaning.
Living with HIV, never even thinking that I would ever have a chance to play basketball again, and then basketball for the United States. It was therapy for me, and I needed that in the worst way.
And then there was the matter of making sure Michael Jordan knew he was back as well.
Yeah, you hear what the captain said? The captain say, sit down, or this boat's gonna sink.
That's right, have a seat, and you're gonna fall, and then that's gonna happen.
That's the seniority right there.
I know it.
With Magic and Michael, there was that little extra something there, and something kind of to prove to each other.
I took it upon myself to always shoot with Michael. Okay, MJ, free throws today. Who was the first one to 50? Or we had little games, who was the better shooter?
You know what you gotta do. Know what you gotta
He didn't want to relinquish that control of the 80s, in a sense, even though we were going into the 90s.
Don't touch the phone. One hand, don't touch it. Don't touch
it. He just come off missing a whole year. So it was who can win, who's gonna have the bragging rights by the end of this trip.
You can't get too close to Michael, it's a foul.
You haven't committed a foul in almost a year and a half, man. How can you talk?
Michael's always tried to let people know that he's the top dog in whatever. That's just his competitive mode.
I'm the young guy with the elder statesman. These old guys, they got arthritis. They can't stand in one spot too long.
He's a young puppy. I'm the big dog here. Whatever I say goes.
All right, y'all, we're going to stop here for part 2. This is so good. This has brought out so many different emotions in me. Y'all saw I got angrier. I got angry early. I was excited in the very beginning. I was like, I was just stoked. I wasn't even there for it, y'all, and I got super excited. And then, getting to go down memory lane because I watched the documentary of Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. I'm talking as if I was there, but the documentary is so good. It puts you there, gives you the details and the relationship between those two and the history of the NBA all in one. It's one of those documentaries that's not selfish. It's not focused on one person. It's focused, a lot of people together as a whole. And I really appreciated that. So I'll be back for part 3, guys. I appreciate you guys, man. I love you guys. You know, man, you guys have been amazing. And I hope, you know, y'all join me as this channel grows, or hopefully it grows, it gets there. If not, hey, I'm happy y'all was with me anyways. So I'm out. It's JAMEENOD, boy.
It's JAMEENOD, and I'm back up in the building, giving y'all hot topics and reactions, and I'm feeling. Comment your suggestions and I got ya. And be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Oh my, I got another one.